This video we are going to discuss about the liver and extrahepatic biliary apparatus. So first we need to understand how the liver is divided into the right lobe and left lobe. So mainly the liver is divided anatomically by means of the falciform ligament, but today we are going to mainly discuss about the segments of liver which are divided on the functional basis. Okay, so on the functional basis the liver is divided by Cantley's line. So what is this Cantley's line? Let us understand. So you can see here the properties of functional right and left lobes. So mainly the segments of liver are divided by three major fissures and three minor fissures. So the three major fissures are not visible on the surface of liver, whereas the three minor fissures are visible on surface of liver. Okay, the three major fissures you can see here, 1 2 3, but actually they are not visible on liver, but we have just, it's a diagram based one, whereas the three minor fissures can be easily seen on the diagram. Now coming to the Cantley's line, the main fissure which is dividing the liver into two functional lobes, that is right and left. So this is the Cantley's line. It is formed by the line joining the inferior vena cava groove and the fossa of gallbladder. So this is the inferior vena cava groove and this is the fossa of gallbladder. So if you draw a line like this is called as Cantley's line. So let us see the right fissure. So this is the right side, right, and this is the right fissure. So the right fissure is in turn subdividing the right lobe of the liver into the anterior and posterior segments. So this is actually the anterior segment of the liver and this is the posterior segment of the liver. Okay, so they are formed by right fissure. So the right fissure is dividing the right lobe again into anterior and posterior segments. Next, coming to the left fissure. So this is the left fissure which is dividing the left lobe into medial and lateral segments. So this is a medial segment and this is a lateral segment. Okay, so this is a left fissure. The fissures are identified by portal vein greater than hepatic vein, and this law is proposed by Claude Corniard. So actually what Claude Corniard, how he divided the liver by basis of portal vein especially. So next, even the hepatic vein is correct, but the portal vein is more greater when compared with hepatic vein. Now the fissures can be identified by different structures. Before Claude Corniard said only by portal vein, but now there are also other structures. On that basis also you can divide the liver, like by using first portal vein, next you can use hepatic vein, also you can use common bile duct, hepatic artery, and among all the structures the least important structure is hepatic artery. So hepatic artery is the least important structures in the basis of dividing the liver into different lobes like this. Okay, so once we will understand this diagram clearly, so you can see here this is the first one, that is the Cantley's line, which is dividing the liver into right lobe and left lobe. Okay, so this is the one major fissure. Okay, the second major fissure is right fissure, which is dividing the right lobe into anterior lobe and posterior lobe. Okay, and this is a left fissure which is dividing the left lobe into the lateral lobe and medial lobe. So you can see 1 2 3, these are the three major fissures. Now what are the minor fissures? You can see this is a right minor fissure and this is a left minor fissure. Actually what these minor fissures are doing, they're in turn dividing the liver lobes into smaller lobes. Okay, so this is the numbering for that, there is 2 3 4a 4b 5 6 7 8. So we need to draw the numbers according to this order: 2 3 4a 4b 5 6 7 8. Okay, so we'll understand now about this, the properties of functional right and left lobe. One thing you need to see, that the 80% of the blood to the liver is coming by means of portal vein only. Okay, so what are the properties of right and left lobe? The right lobe, if you come to its blood supply, it is supplied by right branch of portal vein, and by right it is supplied by right hepatic artery. So right lobe, right branch of portal vein, right hepatic artery. But if you see the left lobe, it is by left branch of portal vein and left hepatic artery. Okay, so just put right and left. In the right lobe, portal vein, hepatic artery. Here also portal vein, hepatic artery, but just in the right, in the left, that's it. So now coming to the venous drainage. The venous drainage also same, you have hepatic vein here which will in turn drain into inferior vena cava. In the case of right lobe, right hepatic vein. In the case of left lobe, left hepatic vein. Coming to the bile drainage, this is also by means of hepatic duct. In the case of right hepatic duct, left hepatic duct. So what you need to see, blood supply is by portal vein, hepatic artery, venous drainage by hepatic vein, bile drainage by hepatic. So everywhere you have hepatic, for the vein only have portal, so everything hepatic. So coming to the segments, so now we are going to discuss about this segments of the liver. So mainly liver is having 5 right anterior liver is having 1 2 3 4 segments on the right lobe. So what are those? Let us see. So you can see this is the right side. So 5 6 7 8. So first we'll discuss about 5. If you see here, fifth one is anterior, right anterior, inferior. This is the right anterior inferior segment because it is on the right side, it is on anterior side, and it is on inferior side. And if you see the sixth one, it is in the right posterior segment. This is posterior, right posterior inferior. If you come to the seventh one, it is right posterior superior. Eighth also superior, right anterior superior. This is anterior. Okay, so according to the names you should just name them. Now coming to this left side, on the left side you have second one. This is the left lateral superior. This is lateral superior. Next third one is left lateral inferior. Next 4A is left medial superior. 4B is left medial inferior, because it's on left side, it is the medial side, and this is inferior. So like that. So like this we have divided the segments of the liver into right lobe and left lobe. So you can see here 5 6 7 8 are the segments of right lobe, 2 3 4A 4B are the segments of left lobe. Now coming to segments which are present to the left of falciform ligament. So you can see this is a falciform ligament. So to the left to it you have to the left to it you have 2 and 3. So the segments which are present on left of falciform ligament are 2 and 3 segments. The segment number 1 is present in caudate lobe. It is independent segment and it doesn't belong to any right or left lobe. So you need to remember that the segment number 1 is not right or left lobe. It is an independent segment and it is a caudate lobe. So what is caudate lobe? It is receiving the blood from both right and left branches of portal vein, and it is supplied by both right and left hepatic arteries, and the venous drainage is directly into the IVC. If you see posterior surface of liver, you will understand that the caudate lobe is just side to the inferior vena cava. So it is very easy for caudate lobe to drain directly into the inferior vena cava. And the bile, the both right and left hepatic ducts drain the bile. And the segment 4B, if you see the segment 4B here, this is a quadrate lobe, this is Q, quadrate, whereas segment number 1 is caudate, C. So segment number 1 is C, caudate, segment number 4B is Q, quadrate lobe. This segment number 4B belongs to the functional left lobe. So it is a functional left lobe of liver. So now we will discuss about the minor fissures. As we said, the minor fissures are visible on surface of liver. So the first fissure is for fissure of ligamentum venosum. So let me draw the. So for example, this is a right side of liver, this is the left side of liver. So actually this is a posterior view. I am drawing a posterior view, okay, to explain the minor fissures. So they are visible on the liver on posterior side. The fissure number 1 will be here for the ligamentum venosum. So what is ligamentum venosum? It is actually a remnant of ductus venosus. So this is present over here like this, okay. And fissure number 2 is fissure for ligamentum teres. So it will be over here. So it is a remnant of left umbilical vein. So this is ligamentum teres. And the fissure number 3 is Gans fissure. which is present over the fossa of gallbladder here. So here will be the Gans fissure. So next, coming to location of caudate lobe. So actually the caudate lobe will be here and the quadrate lobe will be here. Here will be the inferior vena cava opening on the posterior side, and here only will be the number one segment, that is the caudate lobe segment. So location of caudate lobe, it is present between the fissure for ligamentum venosum and the groove of inferior vena cava. So in between them, here will be the exact location of caudate lobe. Between the ligamentum venosum and the inferior vena cava, we are having a caudate lobe. Next, coming to Ranvir's sulcus. This is a which is differentiating the cystic duct from the common bile duct, especially in lap cole. So if we do lap cole procedure, in that we are able to differentiate the cystic duct from common bile duct by means of Ranvir's sulcus. So this is one clinical. So location of quadrate lobe is important. Now let us discuss about the location of quadrate lobe. So this is Q quadrate. The quadrate lobe is present between the fissure for ligamentum teres and fossa of gallbladder. So let me show in this diagram itself. So this is the fossa for ligamentum teres and this is the fundus of gallbladder. So here will be the quadrate lobe, and between the ligamentum venosum and vena cava, you will be having the caudate lobe. So C, as C is coming first in alphabet, so C, next Q below. So C quadrate lobe, this Q for quadrate lobe. So the location of these two lobes is important. Now coming to the hilum of liver. So the hilum of liver have porta hepatic, which structures entering it are portal vein, hepatic artery, and the structures which are leaving the porta hepatis. This is porta hepatis. The structures which are leaving the porta hepatis are structures that is hepatic duct. So hepatic duct will be coming out from the porta hepatis, but the portal vein, hepatic artery are entering into the hilum of liver. So you can remember VA vein, artery, these are going into the porta hepatis, but duct is coming out from the porta hepatis. So the porta hepatis structures are VAD. Okay, or else you can remember in reverse way DAV. Okay, so now coming to the extrahepatic biliary apparatus. So actually first we should understand this diagram and next we'll come to the theory part. So you know that the both hepatic ducts, right and left hepatic ducts, join together to form the common bile duct. So the common bile duct with the cystic duct together form the this is a common hepatic duct. Common hepatic duct is formed by right and left hepatic ducts. So common hepatic duct with the cystic duct together form the common bile duct. And this common bile duct is joined by the portal duct and they form the ampulla of Vater. And this ampulla of Vater open in the major duodenal papilla, which is present in the second part of duodenum, right? So here you can see this is a gallbladder, this is the fundus of gallbladder, this is the body of gallbladder, this is the neck of gallbladder. In the neck of gallbladder you can see a dilatation which is forming a Hartmann pouch. And at the entry of cystic duct you can see a spiral course. This is a spiral Hesker. So next one more thing is you know that this cystic bile duct, common bile duct, is in relation to first part of duodenum. You can see this is duodenum, right, and it is divided into supraduodenal part, retroduodenal part, inferior duodenal part, right, and just side to it you can see the proper hepatic artery and below it you can see gastroduodenal artery. And also there's on the posterior side you can see the inferior vena cava, and you know at the concavity of duodenum there will be head of pancreas, and also on the posterior side you have the portal vein. Okay, so these are all the different structures present in this diagram. And you know that the fundus of gallbladder is present in transpyloric plane. So now let us see this note and some important points related to this diagram now. Okay, and last we have applied anatomy and we can come to this. So First, you need to see that the spiral valve of Hester. This is a spiral valve of Hester. It is present in gallbladder. Don't confuse it with the valve of Hasher. The valve of Hasher is present in nasolacrimal duct. So, valve of Hasher is present in nasolacrimal duct, but the valve of Hester is present in gallbladder. Okay. Next, coming to relations of common bile duct. Supraduodenal part means this is a duodenum, above it this one. Supraduodenal part of common bile duct. Posteriorly it will have the portal vein. This is portal vein posteriorly, and also it is having anteriorly, and to the left there is proper hepatic artery. Anteriorly to the left, this is left side. Anteriorly to the left, proper hepatic artery. Okay, so very simple. Supraduodenal part, posteriorly portal vein, anteriorly to the left, proper hepatic artery. Next, retroduodenal part, back of duodenum, the retroduodenal part. So of course anterior to it you will have duodenum, because now only we are saying retroduodenal. This part of duct is back of duodenum, means of course anteriorly it will have first part of duodenum, and posteriorly same it is having the portal vein and also inferior vena cava. And towards the left side we are having gastroduodenal artery, because now we have come somewhat lower, it is near to gastroduodenal artery. But in the case of supraduodenal part, it is nearer to on left side proper hepatic artery. Infraduodenal part, here, there anteriorly it will have head of pancreas, posteriorly inferior vena cava, and to the left you will have portal vein. So remember, in all till now supraduodenal and retroduodenal, portal vein is posterior relation, but to the infraduodenal part, portal vein is the left side relation. Okay, so now coming to applied anatomy. So sometimes there is a carcinoma in head of pancreas, and that will obstruct the infraduodenal part of common bile duct, and thus will lead to obstructive jaundice. Next, coming to gallstone in infraduodenal part. So if there is gallstone in this common bile duct, what happens? Now the bile cannot move further, so that it will go into the pancreatic duct. So as it is going into pancreatic duct, it will irritate the head of pancreas and lead to acute pancreatitis. So coming to sphincter of Oddi complex. The sphincter of common bile duct is called as sphincter of Boyden, which is divided into superior and inferior. So there are two. So sphincter of Boyden are two, superior and inferior. Next there is sphincter of pancreatic duct, which is also called sphincter pancreaticus, present in pancreas. So next we have sphincter of ampulla of water, which is sphincter of Oddi proper. It is nothing but our common bile duct meet with pancreatic duct, that one. So this three, there are like total four. You have two answers, both are right. You can say there are three, or you can say four. Why will say four? Because sphincter of Boyden is divided into superior and inferior. So sometimes you will consider it, sometimes not. Okay. So both are correct, but 4 is greater than 3. Next, coming to calloids or hepatocystic triangle. So the calloid triangle boundaries are, superiorly it will have cystic artery, below and to right side. So let us draw the calloid triangle. So in the calloid triangle, superiorly there is cystic artery, below and towards the right side there is cystic duct. Below and towards right side means this side is having a cystic duct. So CD represents cystic ducts, and below and towards the left side there is common hepatic duct. So what is the content of this calloid triangle? The content is, it has cystic node of Lund. Cystic node of Lund is a content of calloid triangle. So now coming to what is hepatocystic triangle. Both are different. Hepatocystic triangle is present above the inferior margin of liver. So here we will be having liver, inferior margin, and this is the apex of our hepatocystic triangle. So hepatocystic triangle above have inferior margin of liver, but in the calloid triangle above you are having cystic artery. So what is the content of this? It is similar to calloid triangle. It also have the cystic node of Lund, but it also have cystic artery in it. So there are two contents in the hepatocystic triangle. So now let's finally discuss about the Meynihans hump or caterpillar hump. This is a tortuous right hepatic artery found inside Gallert triangle instead of cystic artery. So instead of cystic artery, there is a right hepatic artery. Here, next coming to applied anatomy. The surgeon has to anticipate or rule out Meyning's hump before laparoscopic cholecystectomy. By because if he will by mistake, if he will ligate it, it will be lot of hemorrhage and blood loss for the patient. Okay, so this is all about our liver and extrahepatic biliary apparatus. Next we'll start with pancreas and spleen.